guess. I don't know.
I know it's like, it seems like the birthdays, if it's on a weekday,
Sorry.
you can't have it on the weekday because everybody's busy working or whatever. But it's a Sunday. Today's her birthday, actually on a Sunday. So,
What did Pat
oh,
say she was going?
yeah, she
Going out
put it in Slack that it's Mia's birthday, so they're going out to dinner. Sudden change of plans.
Okay. Hi, Mom. Hi, Rita.
I'm sure they'll have a
Hi.
good time. Hi, Mom.
Oh,
How is
Well, my AFib is still going.
I didn't know you
Are
had.
you kidding?
When did it start?
Like two
Early
days
Friday
ago.
morning, about 7 o'clock.
Friday morning. So
So
that's over
this
48
is the
hours.
third day.
It's still going. Is it mild?
Did it slow down at all?
I mean,
Well, it isn't as, the symptoms aren't as bad now as they were at the beginning.
did you
Have you
sleep?
taken anything?
Yeah, did you sleep okay
No,
last
there's
night?
nothing you can take.
You don't have metapropol to take?
Oh, I take that all the time, every day.
Well, can't you take like an extra one?
Metapropol? Yeah, I
Yeah.
take that every day.
Yeah,
I thought they told you to take something when it happened.
an extra one or something?
An extra one or something?
Well, he said, uh, one of the doctors said, you could take an extra one of those.
Yeah.
But I don't like the idea of taking an extra one.
Well, it's just
No.
slowing your heart
Well,
down.
Yeah.
It didn't help anyway when I did it before.
Mom, is it keeping you awake at night?
No,
Your heart? Okay.
not now. The first night it did,
Okay.
when it's so much more noticeable.
But you
Did you
slept
go?
okay last night?
But,
You slept okay last night?
oh yeah,
Did you go to the clubhouse today?
no.
No.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I could understand that if you're not feeling up to your
Yeah.
best.
Yeah, even if you
Right.
slept, you can, you know.
Oh, yeah. I'm not
Oh, that's a bummer.
surprised.
I didn't know you had that. I guess I talked to you Thursday night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was the next morning it started.
Oh,
I did not know.
Sorry to hear that, Mom.
I know. I mean, when it does last a few days, I don't think it would hurt to take, I mean, one additional pill, just to see if it helps.
What
Yeah,
does
in the
that
beginning, when it
what
first
does
comes on,
what does the medication do? What is its purpose?
to regulate the heartbeat. It's given to people with high blood pressure just to slow the heartbeat down.
Mm-hmm.
But you take it every day.
Well, if it's still going tomorrow, I'll have to call over at, I'm scheduled to have that scan tomorrow. And I don't know if they want to do it, if they can do it with this AFib, or if it matters
They
at
may
all.
not want,
Maybe
they
it
may
doesn't
not want to.
matter. But
The
I'm
scan
gonna
is for
call
the
them and
okay.
ask,
For the
tell them
lung.
anyway.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably call the heart doctor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just make them aware that it's been going on
Yeah.
a couple days if it's still going tomorrow. Ugh.
It probably won't be if it's
I
slowed
hope
down
not.
already. It already has slowed down.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Excuse me.
I keep checking it.
Oh,
Yeah, there's nothing you can do, nothing else you can do, but just take it easy.
Wait for it to stop.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, sorry.
looks like you got sunshine there in Syracuse.
Oh, yeah, it's been a beautiful day. It got up to
Good.
Here
60
too.
today. This is
Oh,
the
nice.
warmest day we've had in quite a while.
Oh, great.
Several weeks, I think.
Hmm. Well, I'm so
And,
tired.
the sun's been
You
shining
know,
all day.
That's
Rita, I
great.
know Rita, you had snow the other day and it's been 80, 84 degrees here, but we might have a little snow Friday night, you know?
So weird.
Yeah,
It's
we
just-
didn't have any snow that night when you had it, Rita.
Good.
No,
No, we didn't have any snow
it's weird.
in a
Well,
while.
tomorrow here it's going to be 85.
Yeah, this whole week is going to be nice. It's
It's going
going
to
to
be
be
very nice.
going up in 60s.
Mhm.
Our white crabapple trees in full blossom. It looks so beautiful. But
Oh,
you know, it's been in full bloom for like 4 or 5 days and the petals are already starting to fall off. It just doesn't last very long, you know?
right.
And if we have rain and snow, they'll come down pretty quickly.
Yeah. We
Because-
actually went out, Dominic went out and watered the garden today because there's buds all over the roses
Mm.
and things are growing. I mean, it's been nice, but we had not had any rain in several days, and we're not supposed to have any rain this week.
Mm.
We
So
either
we're
have too
being-
much or not enough.
Mhm.
Yeah. Last week we had a couple days of rain and it was great. But everything is needing some water, especially the roses. So, but the azaleas are all still blooming and it's beautiful.
Mhm. They look so pretty. It looks so lush, you
Oh, I
know.
know. Did you send that video to Mom?
No,
Oh,
I
yeah,
didn't
I
because
got
I would
all
have to
your-
upload it to YouTube. And I haven't done that.
It's so
You can't,
nice.
you
Yeah,
can't
but
really
you sent them
email.
last year on the Framio. So I see them every once in a while
Oh yeah, the Framio will
when they
play a
go
fi-
through here.
yeah, the Framio will play a 15-second video, but this one was 30 seconds. And so I'll
Oh.
upload it I will upload it and send it to you. It was just like of my yard, a video of my
It
yard.
was really pretty though.
Oh,
I don't know, just the
yeah,
angle you took it and
it's,
everything.
it's especially the bright pink ones.
Mhm.
Oh, I know. I mean, that's,
They're all gorgeous.
I have that as a screenshot on my phone. It's this
Oh,
bright
pretty.
pink azalea. I just absolutely love it.
Yeah, I've got my spring snow crab apple on my tablet.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to have your own yard, pictures from your own yard.
Yeah.
That crabapple, is it kind of white or pink?
It's when the buds are closed, they look pinkish. And as they open, when they're open, they're white.
Oh,
Mhm.
But the tree has been, it's such an odd shape now because it's had so much damage storms over the years, and then last fall when they came in with the backhoe
Right.
stuff, they did a lot
Right.
of damage. So it's an odd shape.
It's still pretty though.
Yeah. Still bloomed, so that's good.
Still pretty blooms.
Mom, I think I sent you, Mom, some photos onto your Framio of these blossoms and maybe some of those jonquils or
Oh, I just noticed, I've got, it tells me if I have some new pictures.
yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
I can try sending this video to your Framio, and I think it'll only play 15 seconds of it, but it's still pretty. Okay, let's see what happens.
Had enough treats for me.
Yeah, it'll play 15 seconds of the video. It's telling me that here, so it's amazing. This thing is great. Okay. Well, I talked to Ashley and Sullivan is better today. He's been really sick all week.
What's wrong with them?
Last Sunday, he started having diarrhea and he wouldn't eat. And then he's just kept having a lot of diarrhea and he would only drink he ate a tiny bit. Like I think Tuesday he had a couple of French fries and Wednesday he had a piece of cheese. And Thursday he did have a couple of bites of macaroni and cheese. And she took him to the doctor on Tuesday because He just had this diarrhea and then he threw up and he wasn't eating anything. And the doctor said it's just some kind of a stomach bug, stomach virus. And, if it lasts a couple of more days and you don't see any improvement, bring him back. But get him some of these probiotics. It comes in a little packet and it doesn't have any flavor. She can pour it into his Gatorade, so he's getting probiotics.
Okay.
So she did that, and he was drinking and playing,
That's great.
but he was like kind of lethargic, and just not playing really, really super active like normal. But he finally started eating. She's yesterday, and she said today that she said he hadn't had any diarrhea in 48 hours. So he's finally getting over it, but have no idea. Nobody is sick. Nobody where his babysitter is. Nobody in the family, anybody he's been around, nobody has been sick. Nobody's gotten it. Nobody's sick that would give it to him. Have no idea where he picked this up, but it was really bad. And it lasted like 5 days, 5 or 6 days.
Well, I hope it's truly gone,
Well, she said he hasn't had any diarrhea in 2 days and he's eating better. But poor kid. I mean, she's just been worried about him. Something like that. There, you really can't.
There are some bad stomach flus around this year.
Yeah, he got something. She's thinking
What's that
maybe
bad
he
one
picked it
called?
up at a grocery store.
What's
He
that
might have
bad one
touched
called?
something. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Rita.
Yeah, because I think that's
I
what
can't
Ben
remember
had.
the name of that.
I know.
Yeah. It's but
I
she
haven't-
didn't get it. David didn't get it. I babysat him one day because her babysitter was out of town. I didn't get it. Nobody got it. Nobody else. David's parents babysat on Tuesday. They didn't get it.
Oh, the norovirus.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Noro, yeah. So she's thinking he might have picked it up in a store.
Yeah. Oh, you could get
Yeah.
it anywhere. Yeah.
I guess.
Mm.
Did you get that video, Mom, on your Framio yet?
Yes, I did. Yeah,
Okay.
that was very nice.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Mm.
It was just.
But it's only spread through contaminated food, water, or surfaces, as well as close contact with infected individuals.
Right.
It's not like if you sneeze, you're not going to get it that way.
It must have been like in the grocery store. That's the only place she can think of where he might have.
If was he sitting in a carton with his hands on the
Maybe.
bars
Yeah.
and
But actually, Ashley
Okay.
tries to do her shopping right after work before she picks Sullivan up. So she doesn't have to take him to the store. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And he came down with this on Sunday. And they did nothing on Saturday. He was just home. They were just home all day last Saturday. So weird. Very strange. Mom, did I tell you about the rat that Tony? I didn't tell you about the rat.
Oh no, a
Tony
rat?
caught-
How big was it?
A new pet. It's a
It
pet
was-
for Tony.
It was yesterday morning, and Dominic gets up before I do, and Tony always wants to go out because he likes to use the bathroom outside. He likes to go in the garden. So he let him out. Then he came back in again. Then he went out again. He was only out for 10 minutes. And we always see him on the cameras, and Dominic gets a notification on his phone, so he knows Tony's right there at the door, ready to come in. So he opened the door and let him in. And Tony ran in and went into the living room and set this rat down
Oh my gosh.
on the floor in front of the TV. And I don't know if you can see this picture. That's a
That's
dustbin.
a dustbin.
That's the rat. And you can see the tail.
It's
Yeah.
pretty
Look at
big.
the size of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's bigger than Dominic's hand, his fist.
Right. You can see Dominic's
Mhm.
hand there. It was a big rat and it was dead.
What, was it dead?
It was dead.
Oh,
But
Thanks
he
to
just
Tony.
he was outside for 10 minutes and he caught this thing and brought it in. It was like a present,
Was he acting all proud?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was asleep.
So
I didn't
cute.
see it. Dominic
brought you a
got the
present.
dustpan and tossed it down into the gully,
Ugh.
but he didn't eat it. It was just dead. He just caught it very quickly and brought it in the house. It was so big.
Wow.
Oh my
Did
Think
he
God.
about,
take it back out then, or did Dominic have to get rid
Oh
of it?
no, Dominic had to go get the broom and the dustpan and get it out of the house.
Ick.
We've never
That'd
seen him
freak me
catch a
out.
rat before.
I would get the willies if I had to do that.
Me
know,
He's
too.
caught little
Yeah.
mice before, little tiny mice, little
It's so stupid. I
Yeah.
know. I'm sure I could do it. Like we've had a little mouse in our
yeah.
laundry room, and like, no, I make Marvin do it, but like I'm sure I could do it if I had to.
Mhm.
I'm
But then
sure
like
I
a
could.
big rat.
That I don't know if I
Very
could.
big.
Like I said, I've never seen a rat in my
I've
life,
never seen a rat around here.
ever.
He's never caught a rat before, but he has caught squirrels that were so big when he brought it up to the door, it was dragging on the floor.
Wow.
Tail. He's caught big squirrels and chipmunks and mice before, but I've never seen
Yeah.
brought it into the house, so it was clearly a gift.
Weird.
Yeah.
So this picture I
Wow.
showed you, that was a picture that I got from the Ring camera. It was a video,
Mhm.
so I just took a snapshot of it so I could show you.
Ugh.
That was the excitement yesterday morning. Big rat in my-
You wouldn't want that too often.
No.
I'm glad it was dead.
Yeah, instead of running around your house.
Can you imagine that? Can you
I
imagine?
remember one time one of our cats brought a mouse in the house.
Yeah, mouse is different.
I let him in, not realizing that he had something in his mouth, and the thing was alive and it was running around.
I
and-
remember.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And
I think
everybody ran into
feel
the
like I have
room
a
and shut
memory
the
of that.
doors and left me in the living room. And they said, Janet, you get it.
Well, eventually, I think the cat took it
The
back
cat,
out.
I let the cat grab it. And as soon as I saw the cat had it in his mouth, I picked up the cat and put him out in the back door. Put him outside.
Oh.
I remember that. Yeah, Tony has caught mice before and they were still alive. And then he was playing with it on the living room rug.
Yeah, it's like a toy.
I caught it in a little cup and took it way out in the yard and dumped it.
Mm.
It was not dead.
I haven't seen Sophia carrying around anything like that. She likes the toys that I've given her outside, but
Aw.
sometimes she'll just go into the grass and start doing that hopping kind of thing, and like with her
Aw.
paws, like pawing through the grass. I don't know what, it's like everything is a toy. Everything is potentially
She's
a
just
toy.
playing with a blade of grass moved, so she attacks.
Yeah.
She doesn't
Or
need a
maybe-
mouse for food, that's for sure, because she gets better food from you.
Yeah,
Right.
she gets good food here. But like today,
But Janet, your cat doesn't. Tony doesn't need food either, so
He doesn't need to eat anything.
No.
He just does it
Well,
for the heck of it.
it's instinctual. It's
It is.
bred into them.
It is.
Yeah.
It's just what he sees.
Joanne, has Sophia let you pick her up anymore?
Oh yeah. I sent you a video, Mom. One day she let me pick her up and I picked her up off the ground and held her there for 3-4 seconds and set her down. And then I was petting her. Then a minute or two later, I picked her up and I held her with one hand right here. And
Mhm.
she's just kind of looking around. It was 4 or 5 seconds. And I set her down. I don't want to push my luck. And I set her down and she just stayed right by my feet. And I continued to pet her. And she climbs into my lap now by herself.
Oh.
She'll get up on the bench on the front porch.
Joanne,
and
what are you
tea.
gonna do? This is your cat now.
He
This is
totally
your cat.
trusts you.
The thing about her is like I said, everything is a toy. She does not understand the word no. If you brought her into your house,
Too young.
she would play with and probably chew on absolutely everything because she doesn't know. She's outside. The whole world is her toy.
Right.
you know?
She would have to be trained.
Like the other day, she heard me sneeze out there, and it kind of startled her. Today, I was out on the bench. She was sitting right next to me, and I had to yawn. It was a pretty big yawn, and she freaked out. Maybe she thought I was showing my fangs or something. I don't know. But it just really, she jumped down and looked back at me she's not seen that before. She's not a house cat.
No,
Yeah,
she's
not yet. Yeah.
She,
Well, I don't have the type of house or the temperament or the other cats that will allow her to come in and
yeah.
learn to not shred everything that she sees. You know, it's just it's
So
unfortunate that
you'll
she's
just
in the
have to go
two worlds.
on doing what you have
Yeah.
been doing, I
Yeah.
guess.
There are some other rescue groups out there that I got some advice on,
Good.
that might take an older cat, you know, that you can pet and hold and she'll
Right.
purr. And it's like she does that kind of thing like where she's sitting next to me and I'm looking at my phone or something and I'm petting her. If I stop petting her, she'll look up at me like, hello, don't forget, don't stop petting me, you know?
That's
Joanne, maybe if you did find somebody who would be willing to foster her until they could adopt her, if that person could come to your house when she's there and you're there with her and see if
Yeah,
it would warm up to her while she's
yeah.
on your lap, just to see if
But she
she would,
probably wouldn't act the same because
Mm.
a new person might be
but,
scared
but
of
she
her.
might, if she sees that Joanne is friendly with this person and you're
Mhm.
talking and sitting next to each other on the bench, Sophia might get,
It would take time.
that would take
You know,
time. Yeah,
I've been talking to her since first week of January,
I know.
you know?
It would have to
So,
be the right person who is kind of like you, Joanne,
yeah,
and who really knows how to talk to the cat and how to
I think
warm up
a
to,
woman,
yeah, somebody
you
who,
know,
yeah, definitely a
um,
woman, somebody who
she
is like you, you know.
she's still kind of afraid of Curtis, you know.
Okay.
But anyway,
But in that video, I couldn't believe how she kept, you were walking around out in the backyard and she kept right by your feet.
I know.
yeah,
She
I
because
stayed
know.
right
right
in
with
front of
you.
me, I really have to be careful. I was walking on the
Yeah,
deck
you could step on her.
or trip and fall. I've
Oh,
almost done
yeah.
that,
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
on the
Tony does
concrete.
that all the time
Yeah.
in the house. We'll start
Um,
walking and then just
but
walk right
and
in front of me, stop.
before, I wouldn't let her in the house before I got her to a vet to find out if she's like FIV positive or has any other transmissible diseases that
Yeah.
are bad for my cats.
Oh, I
Well, right.
know.
We'll
Yeah,
get
you
through the
don't want
summer.
to expose your two cats to
Right,
something like that.
right.
Right. And and 3 cats, that would just be crazy.
I did that once. I don't want to do it again.
I know. I mean, it,
And
it
I
really
don't want a
is.
kitten. I don't want a kitten in my house, you know?
Yeah, it's hard.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Because they all have their personalities and it can take a year for them to
Hmm.
all get used to each other
Hmm.
and all that.
Yeah.
And that's just
And what if they never do,
yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Right.
always
You have
that.
to, so there's a relationship with the other cats, and then there's her relationship to all of our things in our
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
And it's
Right.
like every nice piece of furniture that we have is already autographed mostly by Elliot with claw marks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Every nice piece of wood furniture that we
Yeah.
have,
Exactly.
and she would climb, she might claw the
Oh, I
sofa, and
know.
she could be very destructive, but not intentionally, just playing
Yeah,
because everything's a toy.
yeah.
Because she's not an indoor cat and she likes to go, her world is outside. That's what she knows.
I
Right.
wish I
She's
knew
already
what
developing
Rigby's
habits,
earlier life was.
Um,
What's that, Rita?
I wish I knew what Rigby's earlier first 7 months were. Was he in somebody's house? Was he?
Yeah,
I don't know.
right, because he was so
because they can
friendly.
only talk.
I know.
You got him when he was 7 months old, huh?
They think he was about that. We don't know for sure, but they're thinking.
Yeah,
That's about what Sophia is now.
they can tell by their teeth, I think,
Yeah.
Yeah, teeth.
the
Yeah.
size of their teeth.
But he's a really mellow house cat, isn't he?
Yeah, but he wasn't at first. But I didn't have any other cats at that time, so it just happened to work out well. I didn't have to
Exactly.
acclimate him to another cat,
Right. Just
So
worked out.
yeah,
I know, that's right.
that could have been a whole different thing.
Rita, maybe he wasn't an outdoor cat for very long.
I don't think he was for very long. I think it,
Didn't, did Ben have them before you got
well,
him?
he went to Ben's house, yeah, in
Oh.
Landon.
Right,
Ben
that
lived in
house he
Landon.
was
He
renting.
showed up and he was very friendly and he wanted to come inside. He seemed like he knew what to do, and yeah. He wasn't fixed. He was at that age where you should get fixed. I think
Yeah.
people just had him and couldn't take care of him and dropped him off. Or
Yeah,
something.
Right.
yeah.
And Ben's landlord said no cats.
Yeah, he was highly allergic to cats, so
Oh,
Right.
wouldn't let him keep it.
So you took him temporarily at
Well, I
first.
didn't know. Well, we put out, he was so nice that we assumed it was somebody's cat. We put
Yeah,
out a lot of things.
right.
But he didn't have a microchip and
No,
no signs that he ever had a collar
no.
that you could see on his neck. Yeah,
It's just like Sophia. Sophia is a really nice cat.
yeah.
She's so friendly. She's been around people when she was little.
But not for very long because she doesn't know the word no. When
Well,
a couple of
some
times
people
when I've had
don't
to say
really.
that, when I've had to say that to her, it really scares her and she runs away.
Well, that's good because that's what they're supposed to think.
Exactly.
Like when she almost tripped me a couple times. Actually, it was when I was having vertigo and trying to walk out with her food to the front porch, and it was cold out, and she was tripping me up, and I yelled because I didn't want to fall on her or kick her or step on her
Yeah.
or
Right.
something.
Oh, I've done that to Tony.
Yeah.
I'll be in the kitchen at the counter and he'll come up behind me and sit or lay on the floor right behind me. And I don't even know he's there. And I'll step back to go to the refrigerator, step
Mhm.
on him.
Mhm.
I know,
And,
I'm always afraid that's going to happen one day, and then I'm just gonna.
I just didn't even know he was there.
Mhm.
Silly cat.
Well, on another note, today, Mom, Curtis and I went to this sort of a show convention kind of a thing it was called Vintage Voltage. And the Colorado uh, Antique Radio Collectors Club was there. They had a few tables there. And we went to it like 10 years ago, and that's where I got that really nice Zenith Tombstone radio. But it's all vintage voltage. So they had like a lot of old like from the 70s
Yeah.
guitars.
Mhm.
You think of rock and roll music from that era, early
Yeah.
70s, and huge like speakers, like when everybody thought bigger speakers were
Yeah.
better, you know, it's cyclical. Everything's cyclical, right? And then they got
They
really
used to
tiny.
be. They used to
And
be.
then,
Bigger ones
yeah,
were
there were a
better.
lot of like stereo receivers and reel-to-reel tape decks, but then there was also a lot of record albums for sale, tons. And then in another part of the building was like a vintage toy and doll show, which I didn't even see.
Mhm.
And something else, I can't remember what else was there, but there really weren't many vintage radios for sale. I saw a couple people there from the club that I met in January and talked to them. And, there was a couple of nice ones, but there really wasn't anything for sale.
Oh,
Um, so when we went 10 years ago, there was a lot more radios for sale. I don't know. I think because I was like, nobody wants to buy these things anymore, and you can't get any money for them.
right.
This radio club has like an auction, a potluck barbecue picnic auction kind of a thing at this place pavilion with grills
Yeah.
and stuff and seating. And that's where a lot of stuff gets auctioned off for like 25 and $50.
Right. Because I mean,
People,
if you can't repair them or you don't know where to repair them, there's
but a lot of them are working because these are people who love to do
Mhm.
this. They love to refinish them and refurbish them. But then it's like, what are you going to do with 100 radios?
I know.
Um, so it's like the Red Violin, that movie. It's like you're the caretaker for 30 years and then you need to get rid of it. So you sell it to somebody else who will take care of it for 30 years. And then that person gets old and needs to downsize. I was looking at a couple of nice Zenith Cathedral radios today, and this guy walked up to me and he said, "Do you like Zenith?" I said, "Yeah, it's beautiful. I have one at home." And he said, "Here's a picture of one that I'm trying to give away." And it was a console one, like our
Couldn't
Philco.
even give it away.
He's said, we just need to downsize. I don't
Yeah.
have room for it anymore. He's 79 years old. He and his wife are just trying to downsize, and it was really nice. And he had it out in his car with him today.
Oh,
We wanted to give it away, but it's like, where am I going to put it? Something that big, you know? Like I have some shelf space where I could fit a couple of few, smaller ones. But
right.
in the meantime, I found this on Amazon. I think it's so cute. Can you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's,
It
What
looks
is it?
like an old radio. And we
yeah.
haven't determined yet if the finish is really walnut wood or if it's
Oh, cool.
plastic that looks a lot like walnut.
Looks real.
Okay.
But it's a Bluetooth speaker.
Oh,
Oh,
It's
that's
cute.
funny.
radio. It's an FM radio, FM only.
Funny.
You get it's got pretty good sound. That's the classical station. It lights up orange when it's on FM. And then you can set it on Bluetooth and connect it to any other device.
That's so
Okay.
cute.
And
And
then there's
it's
some,
electric, it plugs in.
no, it's rechargeable.
Oh, rechargeable. Okay.
Yeah, it's got a speaker in the front. I don't know if that's actually cloth or not, but it might just be
Oh,
painted
that's
black.
cute.
That's so cute.
But there were several different styles. Somehow, I was just researching radios or something, and these ads came up for these little radios.
Mhm.
There were several different styles. So it was like 30, $35. I use it quite a bit. I listen to classical music in the kitchen in the morning, and
That's so
I just
cute.
thought it was so cute,
It is.
Good.
you know,
Very cute.
very nice style, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my newest acquisition. But I like the fact that it's Bluetooth and rechargeable, and so I can listen to any of my good jazz stuff on there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Hmm.
Oh,
So we went there today. It was like a 15, 20-minute drive to get there across a really busy highway. And we stayed for about an hour and came home because we saw all the radio stuff twice and talked to a couple of people. And Curtis looked at some guitars and, some of the
mhm.
old amps that were bringing back a lot of memories for him.
Yeah.
Um, oh, I should have taken pictures of some of these guys there and some of the women too, because there were mainly guys who looked like they were wannabe rock and roll stars in 1967 when they were,
Gosh.
17 years old. And they were still wearing the same kind of shirts and jeans and hairstyles, except it was all gray now, like a ponytail. And, oh, it was just so
They hadn't
interesting.
had a makeover since 1965. Oh, wow.
Right, right. But they're still in that mindset.
Mhm.
And I just remind me, I saw an article about Keith Richards. Did you hear his Keith Richards, not Keith Richards, Mick Jagger, who's 81. His 37-year-old fiance is pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
70, how old?
Mick Jagger's
He's
81,
81.
Yeah,
and his
the fiance.
37.
Um,
They've been together for like 3 years.
It must be true love.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Oh,
I
that
agree.
is ridiculous.
That's
What
sick.
is he doing? Oh my God.
It's unfair to
I
the
don't know.
child. It's unfair to the
Right.
child.
I know.
Yeah,
So he'll be
wow.
financially, he or she will be financially taken care of.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
right.
basically,
She's
yeah.
young enough to remarry to a reasonable person, who can be a father to her
Right.
child. Um,
Oh my
but
gosh.
it's like geezer rockers,
Mhm. So
Um,
what did the women look like?
there was a couple women there who looked like, think of like shag hairstyles, bleach blonde shag hairstyles,
Mhm.
a lot of tattoos, and kind of like a long skirt slit all the way up to like the top of the thigh with boots, and
Oh my gosh.
tag and, um,
Yeah, some people just don't change their style
yeah.
with the times.
It's an era that they loved and grew up
Right.
in,
Yeah.
and
Maybe they don't think they look any older.
right,
Yeah.
right.
They probably love the way they look.
Yeah, yeah. And Mick Jagger hasn't gotten any better looking as he's aged either. He's disgusting. I've never liked the Rolling Stones, and Mick Jagger is just gross. Even when he was younger, he was gross.
I
Ugh.
never was really into them either. I
I
mean,
was
there's a
never
couple of
really, I was
songs I
never really
liked.
into the Rolling Stones.
No, there was a couple of songs, but I
Yeah,
liked,
a
but like,
couple of songs,
He
but
looks
I
like
never
a wild
owned.
man.
He
Yeah,
does.
I never bought
I
into
don't
their
think he's
music.
attractive at all.
No.
Even
And
when he was younger.
I mean, he
He
certainly didn't
wasn't.
compare to the Beatles, you know.
Right, right.
Right.
And I didn't think there was
Well,
any reason to. They were always just so number two to the Beatles to me.
true,
Yeah,
true.
definitely.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So have either of you seen that movie about Henrietta Lacks yet?
No,
No, I haven't. I've been doing
Mom,
some
do you know
yard
that?
work this weekend.
Yeah. Mom, do you know that story about Henrietta Lacks, who was a
I
black
will.
woman,
I heard about this. Yeah.
who was a black woman in 1950, she got cervical cancer,
Oh, yeah, I've read about that. I
and
read
her
stories
cells
about
were
her.
harvested without her permission, and
Yeah,
Johns Hopkins was promoting it, and other drug companies made a lot of money. So there's a book
yeah.
written, and there have been some other honors for her and statues and a
Mhm.
couple of conferences named for her since that book came out. Um, but the movie, Oprah Winfrey starred in the movie as Henrietta's daughter. The book came out in 2010, and I'm pretty sure I read that book when it came out, but I just started reading it again, and there was this movie about her. And I went to a Zoom meeting on, I think it was, with Henrietta's great nephew, grandnephew, something like that, who talked about her life. And he was speaking to a medical community and bioethics, about ethical medicine from this hospital near us here. This is the same hospital program that has the music programs that we've been to. Um, so anyway, it was interesting. But the author of that book, after she wrote the book, she
Mhm.
set up the Henrietta Lacks Foundation, I think, and it was set up to give grants to family members um, in the areas of education and their own health and dental care.
Mm.
And so some of them have gone, like her great grandchildren have gone to college and stuff. It also supports surviving family members of the Tuskegee Airmen,
Oh yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
that horrible.
It was such a
I
disgusting
will,
movie.
and it's a film now. So you said Oprah plays the daughter.
She plays like
I do want to watch it because I'm curious as to how all this came out, you know.
yeah, well, the family had been struggling with it for a long time, and her daughter had a lot of health problems. She was like 60 years old when she died, but she had a lot of stress. There was some mental illness in the family,
Oh,
and she had like um high blood pressure and high blood sugar and high blood pressure, and she had had two minor strokes, and um it was like all the men in the family told her, told the daughter that she couldn't talk to this writer, that they had to talk to. But she did end up spending a lot of time with the daughter. But the author was she studied biology and writing. So this was a particular area of interest of her. And she first heard about Henrietta Lacks like in the 80s when she was in some kind of college science class, and she was fascinated because why
mhm.
doesn't everybody know who she is, you know?
Right. So
Um,
was she the one that went and looked for the family?
The author did, yeah.
The author? Mhm.
She got in touch with an educator, a Black educator at Morehouse School in Atlanta, and he knew the family, and he'd tried to do a few things to get her name out there and honor Henrietta. So the author called him, and after several phone calls, he agreed to give her Henrietta's daughter's phone number. But this author was pretty brave to go to this inner city Baltimore neighborhood and meet these men of, she didn't know who they were. Get in a
Yeah.
car with a strange man. Um,
Oh,
she was pretty brave about it.
it sounds really good.
It's a good movie.
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna watch it when I can.
Yeah. I
yeah,
have it on my list. Things to watch.
yeah.
Sounds really good.
Amber.
Well,
I finally got all my financial documents in order to transfer my funds from one company to this other company that I've been
oh,
dealing
it's
with.
taken a while.
There's so much to learn, types of annuities and what the risks are, and
Mhm.
how you want no, you want some risk. One account will have 4% guaranteed,
Right.
it'll be 6.5% guaranteed. It's just so confusing, you know?
I had this annuity that Kathy Kaffenberger um, put me in, and I didn't know that when you reached 100 years of age, that's the end. It's they pay it out, and that you don't have it anymore. I thought it would keep going.
Did you reinvest that somewhere else
Crazy.
or?
Yeah, I put it into a CD here
Oh,
at the
good.
Seneca
Yeah, I
Bank.
remember when you turned 100 and you found out about that. Or she
Yeah,
contacted
that was a
you?
big surprise to me.
Huh.
Maybe she
Really?
had told me that, but it
Well, not many people, that's not an
registered.
issue for many people, I guess,
Right.
It's like I
Yeah,
know
Right.
there's a lot of insurance policies that like ended at 90 or something, but
Yeah,
people
life
didn't used to
insurance.
live as
Right.
long.
Right.
but and what was also as a shock was the tax I had to pay. It was $11,000.
What?
Because you started with pre-tax
Yeah,
money that had
Yes.
not been taxed.
Right.
and
I
And
can't
then when
believe there
you
was no
cash
way
it
to
out,
roll
you
that
got to
over.
and I
I
think
can't believe they didn't have a way of rolling that over
I
without
know
you paying tax.
Yeah, that's crazy.
like 20%.
And she didn't call you about that? I can't believe
Um,
that they wouldn't have been able to avoid that
She
tax.
did. She did call you about that, didn't she? I remember you talking about it.
I did talk to her about it, and I think she said, yeah, the tax rate is
So-
pretty high
I'm sure it could have been rolled over.
when you cash it in, and
Yeah.
you have to cash it in.
I don't know
Yeah,
if it's
sometimes you
true.
can take one investment account and do a transfer or rollover to another investment account and defer the tax, and not pay tax on it. That's what I'm doing. But the government's gonna get their money one way or another.
Yeah. And when they sent me the money, well, I had them send it to my bank. They withheld $5,000, knowing that there would be a high tax rate on that. And
Yeah.
then when I had my taxes done, I had to pay 6,000 more.
Ay,
So
that's terrible.
11,000 total. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Weird.
So I've spent a lot of
Oh.
time in the past few weeks going over all this stuff and waiting for Myra to get back to me. With the stock market, the way it's been, she's been really busy
Yeah.
with her clients and their investments and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So I just have either, guaranteed annuities or very, very a small amount and a very low risk uh annuity. Um, and they have like a 4-year term on these two no accounts have a 4-year term, so maybe 4 years from now there will be something better to do with that money, you know.
Right,
One of them was from a Roth IRA, so I've already paid the tax on that one.
right.
That's why Roth IRAs are so great. Pay the tax now because you can just know for sure that taxes are not going to
Taxes
go down.
change, yeah,
Taxes are not going to get, they're not going to get lower. They're only going to get
Right.
higher, you know?
right.
And they'll never come down again.
Right. So pay the taxes now so that when 20 years from now, when you need the money, you won't be paying more tax on it, a higher tax rate.
But then there's that thought that what about, Trump's thinking about taking away income tax. So,
No,
I hadn't heard that.
oh,
yeah.
yeah. I don't know
So
how
if
that would
that's the
be.
case, like if you make under a certain amount,
Yeah,
know.
I think it was like under 150,000 or
yeah,
something.
then you don't pay any income tax. So then it would be
Yeah,
better to
yeah,
do it the traditional way.
right.
Right.
I don't think that'll ever happen.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so either.
You can't believe 90% of what he says.
Right. 95.
Anyway, I've had investments on my brain. I'm meeting her tomorrow morning to give her this paperwork, and then she has to do her portion of the paperwork before we can set up the accounts, and then the money has to be transferred from one company to her company. It's gonna take a little time. Ambrose. I have a kitten right here.
Kitten.
Ambrose is
That's a
gained weight.
meatloaf.
Yeah, he's gained like 2.5 pounds in the past year, and I don't know why.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
I can
I was-
relate to that. I can relate to that.
I mean, my cat, he's like 22, 23 pounds, and I have him on this diet now. And I have him on this like for a month now, this really lower calorie, high fiber cat food. He's still getting the same amount of food every day, but he's on this diet food now.
Mm.
I haven't noticed him losing any weight at all.
It takes a long time.
I know, but he
know.
goes outside. He's active.
He is. He does
I feel
run
bad
around.
because Rigby I don't have outside, so
He does
doesn't.
run around outside,
Yeah,
He's,
that's really good. I would think that would keep him in check.
I know,
actually.
you would think. I just don't know why he's so big.
Maybe he's going to neighbor's house and they're feeding him.
Right.
I've
Someone else
asked,
can
I've
do.
asked the neighbors. He doesn't go into anybody's house.
Does he have a collar on?
No.
Oh,
Oh, we had a collar for him, but it got lost somewhere. He got it off because they had one of those little, if they get their paw in it, they can pull it.
yeah.
And I don't know where it went.
Release.
Yeah, it's a quick
Oh.
release. So he didn't like it.
I always think at least if a cat has a collar on outside, that tells me, even though he's wandering the neighborhood,
He
somebody's
belongs.
caring for him.
Well, his ear is tipped, so people know that he is being fed and cared for. And almost
Yeah.
all of my neighbors, we talk and they know
Mhm.
Well, that ear tip just means he was caught and
he was caught.
right?
But
Neutered.
Doesn't
well,
mean he belongs
it's
to
it's
anyone.
part of this around here. It's part of the Poe Kitty program, and they tip the ear. They get all their shots,
Mhm.
and then but you have to sign this paper agreeing to be responsible for this cat, take him back
Oh.
to where he was outside, and provide food for him
Oh wow.
and take care of him. So we
Mm.
we agreed. You got to agree to that and sign the paper, and that's part of it. So around
Oh.
here, an ear tip means someone's taking care of that cat. He's gotten his shots,
Oh.
he's been neutered, and he's
Yeah.
being fed. I mean, you can definitely tell, but looking at Tony, that he's being fed.
Yeah.
So
Well, I don't know why Ambrose has gained so much weight.
I know.
She said before we change his diet, just start giving him a little less,
Oh,
give him a
yeah.
little more canned than dry, but some days he won't eat canned food. He just doesn't like it. I don't know why.
Yeah, Rigby does that sometimes too. I'm amazed how he doesn't eat it and he'll just eat a little more dry food and like
Right.
Well,
he's not eating everything. you
yeah,
know.
and my vet said the dry food is what really packs the pounds on. But I got this diet food now, so I thought that would be better. I don't know. I'm going to give it some time, but I have also thought about giving him more wet food
Mm-hmm.
than
And less
dry
dry.
and less dry. Mm-hmm.
And then with Elliot, I have found that he throws up
Tried it.
a couple times a week. It's fur season, fur ball season, the
He's
spring
been
shedding and all
starting
that.
to do that. Every once in a while, he'll
Oh
throw up.
yeah, I brush Tony every day, and
Yeah.
like this week it was warm, and I'm getting like a brush full of hair, like a whole handful
My
of,
cats
of
hate it.
hair. He loves being brushed too, so
But anyway, she said, yeah, canned food is better. And I'd be happy to give him all canned food, but some days he just won't eat it. I go through all the trouble of putting it in a glass dish with a little bit of water
yeah.
and
I
putting it
know.
in the microwave, stirring
I
it up,
know.
and giving him
Warm
half
it
of
up
that at
for
a
10
time, and then he'll
seconds.
just walk away. He doesn't appreciate my cooking skills,
No.
Yeah,
And then you gotta wash all those dishes,
right. I
by
know.
hand.
Every
So
day
I know.
I get nasty.
little Sophia, I started out with these 3-ounce cans. It's inexpensive stuff. It's Fancy Feast. Tried a couple flavors. Turkey is the key. She loves turkey. And Ambrose does too. But, I started out by giving her half a can and then some dry kitten food. And this can, the guideline says 1 can five for per 3 pounds of weight.
What?
So she could eat 2 cans a day.
Oh, no way.
It gets expensive.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
it
so
does.
but I've been giving her a little bit more. I've been giving her more like 3/4 of a can. She will park in front of that dish and eat it until it's all gone. She doesn't stop. She doesn't walk away and come back. She just eats it all until it's gone.
Tony does the same thing
Yeah.
most of the time,
Yeah.
but he will come
She's
and bug me, and I'll go into the kitchen and he'll sit right by his food dish and cry because
yeah.
it's
I just
empty.
heard Elliot, El. I just heard El meow. I don't know
He is.
why.
Yeah.
Well, Mom, so you have an appointment tomorrow for scan. Is this for your lymphoma?
No, that's just check on that spot on the lung that they found when they
Oh,
took the
yeah.
other scan in January.
Yeah, I hope you get
Okay.
to go to that and your AFib goes away between now and tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
My question would be
Well,
is
I
how can
wonder, do you think it makes any difference if to have the scan or if I'm having AFib?
Well,
No, I
definitely
wouldn't think
tell
so.
them.
I would tell them, but I don't
Yeah.
think it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you have a scan like that, they'll inject you with a contrast.
Oh yeah, are they doing that?
Oh, I'm not having contrast. I've had it before, but
Oh.
I'm not having it this time.
Well, I think
It's
you're
still
right.
machinery, it's still some kind of radiation, right?
Just let them know. And
But do tell them, like you said, you're going to call them in the morning if you
Yeah.
still have your AFib and let them know about it.
What time's your appointment?
I think it's 11:30.
I bet you it will be gone.
I hope so.
Who's taking you to that appointment?
Uh,
Okay. Um,
I hope so.
yeah, see how you feel, and if you still have it, I don't know what they'll say. I don't know.
Well, if you had just gotten it, that would be one thing, but the fact that you've had it for 3 days at that point, then they might
know.
say, no, you better call your heart doctor.
Right.
Right. Hmm. Yeah.
Wasn't there one time you had it for like 6 days in a row, Mom?
no, it was 4 days. The
I
most
remember
ever
that.
had it for.
It was a
Oh.
long time.
And said that if it didn't stop, I would have to come in the next morning
Mm-hmm.
and have the shock treatment.
Right.
But luckily it did stop.
So, but today is day 3, right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, today's day 3.
God, I hope it goes away soon.
I know.
I don't know. My question is, how does anybody get to be 101 and a half and not have a spot on their lung.
Right.
Yeah,
You
well,
know?
it could be
I mean,
nothing.
really? You know?
Pat said she's got those
Hmm.
on
Yeah.
her lungs, and they told her it's nothing.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, I
They're
think
just fascinated. They're fascinated because you're 101 and a half and they want to know everything about you they
I
can.
know. It just seems crazy. Like I expect to have that if I ever, I'm not going to get to 101, but if I did, I'd expect to have that.
Yeah.
yeah. How are you doing, Rita, on your medication?
I'm okay. You know, I go to the doctor on the 22nd
Hmm,
for
Mm.
more blood work, you know.
Yeah.
good. Yeah,
which
they're doing
doctor is that?
The hematologist.
right, the hematologist. Well,
But this Wednesday, I finally have my appointment for my new regular, you know, doctor.
oh, good.
So I hope I like
Good.
her,
Oh, yeah.
I
you
hope so
know.
too. Wow,
Yeah,
it's been a long time.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yes, I've not had, you know.
Well, I'm going for an infusion on Tuesday afternoon, the immunoglobulin, and that'll be my last one
Oh.
I thought
until
you said that last time.
I thought it was, but then
Oh,
then I realized I do have one more in April, and then I won't have it. I won't go back to the doctor after that until August. So
Oh.
yeah, it's a
Okay.
little bit
yeah, but
longer. Usually it's every three
yeah,
months.
but is that where you get your blood checked too for the white blood?
I don't know if they're going to check my blood. I don't think so.
How
I mean, my blood work has been so good for the last year and a half or two. Been on this Imbruvica for 2.5 years. And so they're going a little bit longer this time in between
Yeah, I'm
because
not there
I've been
yet,
doing
you
so
know.
good. It's really like in remission pretty much, but it's because of the medication. So,
I just don't like being on this medication, you know,
oh, I know. I worry
because
about
I
it.
don't know what else it's doing to me, you know. So,
Yeah, don't read all the information about the medication.
well,
I
yeah.
mean,
Where did Joanne go?
I don't know. Something happened. Yeah,
Is she signing back on or?
probably she might text us and let us know something happened where she went. We'll give her a minute. I'll watch to see if she comes back on. Yeah, I mean, one of the side effects of Imbruvica is you can start to get like skin cancer.
Yeah, same with
Um,
me. Same with
you
me.
know, and I've got this one spot in the back of my hand, and it'll like scab up, and then the scab will peel off, and then it just kind of keeps happening over and over again.
I have a spot like that on my face, but
I
I
got a
had it way
spot like
before,
that on my finger.
and
Yeah,
I've had it way before I started this medication, though. You know.
yeah, and then
Well,
I've got this
I've
new
had it
one.
for
I've got a
40
new little
years.
spot. You can't really see it right there, and it's
Oh yeah.
doing the same thing. It scabs up, and then it scab comes off, and then it just starts getting irritated and scabs over again. I should go to my dermatologist because my dermatologist told me he sees a lot of patients, a lot of cancer patients who get skin problems because of the drugs that they're on for the cancer. It kind of goes
Yeah,
hand
well, I
in
figure
hand,
now, and by this May, I'll be on a year. I'll make an appointment for a dermatologist.
right? But I
I
do
didn't
know,
know that those drugs can affect your skin like that.
yeah, they
I never knew
can.
that.
They can affect all kinds of things. Okay, Joanne said Wi-Fi is working, got booted out of the room. I'll try again. Okay, she got booted out. That's weird. I don't know. I had a couple of notices on my screen saying that my internet was unstable, so then it went away. But yeah, I haven't been to my dermatologist in about a year. Here's Joanne.
I've never been to one, so I don't even have one.
Call your hematologist and have them refer you, the
Yeah.
one that they use, because they'll know, like, oh yeah,
Well, now I'll have a regular doctor too, and I'll talk to her about it.
yeah, talk to her about it too. But yeah, definitely tell this new doctor about your blood, your P Vera. And but the dermatologist's office is like right next to my oncology hematology office, and I like him. He's good.
And then Thursday, I have to go to my. I never finished this implant over here. Remember I put it, they put it in. It didn't work right because something was weird. Took it out. I've had a couple, you know, bone
Bone
graft
bone
done.
graft
I was
thing.
supposed to go in January or February to see how it's doing, and the weather was just so bad. And then I was sick. Remember, I had that
Yeah. Yeah, you were sick
so
for like a month.
2 months.
Yeah.
So I finally, and then March it was just so crummy, so I just made that appointment. So I don't know if I'm going to do it. Even if he says it's okay, I'm torn. I'm just torn.
Oh, okay.
Did you not have a tooth there?
Yeah, I don't have a tooth there.
Yeah.
I've got one that was missing there too,
But it
but
feels fine. And I had pain for so many years, always constant pain in my gum there. I've
Oh,
had a
that
lot.
was the one you always had a lot of trouble with.
Yeah,
Oh,
tooth
that's
canals. Yeah.
awful.
So
Yeah.
I feel like it's a weakened area and I don't know if I want to risk it.
right, well, you don't want to mess, if it doesn't hurt now, do you want to mess with
Right.
it?
I mean, I guess, if I don't
Because getting the implant, they got to open it up, and
I know, and it's like, who wants to go through
they
that
got to put
pain?
the post in there and then let it heal up, and
Yeah,
a
Oh,
couple of months, and
it's awful.
I know, but like, I'm gonna see what he says.
I'm missing
how it
it too.
looks. They'll measure the bone and everything.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for, just for them to do a real scan.
Mm-hmm. See if you have enough bone. I had to have 2 bone grafts with my implant.
Yeah,
It took
yeah,
forever.
that's what I've had with this one, 2 of them.
It took a long time. So Joanne, you got just booted out for you just disappeared.
I know, it just disconnected me from Zoom. I don't know why. Everything else was working, obviously, because we were on the chat
Maybe there
and
was
my
a
mic
blip
was
with
working.
your internet and went out and back in again or something, just enough to kick you out or something.
I tried to enter twice and it was just churning and churning and churning
Oh,
before
yeah,
he
that
finally
sounds like
let
an
me in.
internet thing.
Joanne,
But
did
we
you
were
say
able
you
to
don't have a
chat.
tooth
We were able
either?
to chat, do the Gmail chat thing, so the internet was
Oh,
Yeah,
working.
yeah.
yeah, so your phone was working.
Did you say you have a tooth that's out too?
Well, I lost a tooth back here. It's the second one up from the back. Um, because it was called resorption, like a resorbed,
Oh, yeah, 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 right.
and they took it out. It was awful. And they said you should have an implant there. And I said, well, what if I don't? I said, well, the tooth behind it could eventually like lean forward,
Yeah, and get loose and
fill in
fall
that
out.
space. But it's
Yeah,
like,
they like to scare you with
oh, I
stuff.
know, I'm sure they would have been happy to charge me
Yeah,
for an implant.
exactly.
I decided to do nothing.
Okay.
They're so
And they said, you,
expensive.
And it's fine.
if you're going to have an implant, you should do it within a couple months of having that tooth removed. And I just didn't decide anything. So I really decided not to do it.
Yeah.
So, uh, um, I go back for another Botox injection in my skull this week. Blah.
Really? For headaches?
Yeah, every migraines. Yeah, I do that
Migraines?
every 3 months. I've been doing that for a couple of years.
And how have your migraines been?
The spring is terrible. Spring used to
Oh,
be my
yeah.
favorite time of the year, but it's the great fluctuations in barometric pressure and temperature that sets me off. This has not been a good
Hmm.
3 months. But I remember talking to her about it last year. My neurologist said a lot of people, we had weather last spring that just really set off a lot of migraines
Wow.
for a lot of people. And I just attribute it to that,
Yeah.
There's, like
Yeah.
last night I woke up at 3 o'clock and my head was kind of hurting and it didn't feel like a true migraine. My nose wasn't terribly stuffy and I didn't know what it was. So I just laid there. And, I was kind of awake and in and out. And the next thing I know, I'm thinking, God, my head hurts. I better get up. And it's like 2 hours later. So I must have slept, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it felt like 15 minutes, but then I did get up at 5:30. But I often feel better when I sit up. My head hurts more when I lie down.
Oh,
So go figure. I don't
yeah.
know. A lot of mysteries about migraine. So,
Well, I've been
um,
sleeping better the last 4 or 5 days. Before that, I was like waking up in the middle of the night every night. I just had a week of bad sleep, and I have no idea why.
yeah,
That seems to be gone now.
yeah,
So I
it
don't
happens.
know. Yeah,
Just like we don't know why it happens, we don't know why it goes away.
no,
Right.
no, I have no idea.
But it looks like when I do have a full night of good sleep without taking melatonin or,
Hmm.
it's like a miracle.
I know.
And if I can have two of those in a row, it's like I'm ecstatic. I have so much
So
energy, you
nice.
can't stop me. I can
Yeah.
get a lot done on those days.
Oh, yeah. If I can get like 7 hours of sleep, I feel
Yeah,
great the next
7 hours
morning.
is great.
Yep, definitely.
Now you've got your big trip coming up next month, huh?
Yep.
When are you
Yeah.
going away?
You could turn the light on.
May May 8th,
May 8th?
which I think is May 8th, which I think is a Thursday.
Oh,
So I've been doing a lot of research on, what to do there and where to go and what's accessible, and restaurants, some things we haven't seen before. I've been watching some YouTube videos about Pacific Grove and Monterey, and there's that whole Fisherman's Wharf area um, on at Monterey Bay, where the whole Cannery Row things, the whole
Hmm.
Steinbeck Row. And there's like this dock that you can walk out on. It's really built up. There's little shops, touristy kind of gift shops and ice cream shops and stuff.
Nice.
But you go right out over the water. We've never done that, and
Sounds good.
I'd kind of like to do that this time. Um, and there's a trail. It's actually a 19-mile long trail. Did I tell you about this? The
No.
Pacific Coast Trail. It's was built over old railroad tracks. There's as you go farther north and inland a bit, there's a little town called Casterville. And it's kind of like in Salinas Valley where all the growing happens,
Hmm.
all the produce that they grow there, which is so fresh and so good. And they would put it on trains and and get it to other places, but they did away with the trains. So they covered up the trains with it's either concrete or pavement for 19 miles, which we're not going to do.
Ah,
But
so
you can
it's
do
a
it from
rails to
Cannery
wow.
trails
Row. You
thing.
can do
Yeah.
it you can do like a couple miles from Cannery Row up around to towards Pacific Grove. There's a little area there called Lovers Point.
Hmm.
A shape in the landscape there with rocks and stuff. We did a part of it before, and there are some concrete walls along the way that have beautiful murals, historic murals on them, and the trees are just so fantastic. But then also this other
Yeah.
place I think I told you about called Asilomar, which is like a big conference center, like a YWCA kind of conference center.
Hmm.
Um, and there's a trail and boardwalks right along the ocean there. Parts of it are accessible for Curtis's scooter. I've got all the information about enter
Great.
from this point, you can walk zero point 0.6 miles to these sand dunes or to these cliffs or whatever, so we can see different parts of that. And I
Great.
actually called the hotel and said, how long is the walk from, this place that we're staying um to the ocean? She said, it's about 10 minutes.
That's not
So,
bad. That sounds good.
yeah, I want to do that. I
That
like to
sounds
do that
Yeah.
like every morning.
Joanne, have you seen the redwoods out there on your
Well,
other trips?
in one area, as you go around Monterey Bay, just north before, just before you get to Santa Cruz and you go north, there's a park called Henry Cowell Redwoods State Forest. Henry Cowell's family donated these, I don't know, number of acres to the state park system. And oh, it's just so beautiful. It's not like where the big General Sherman trees are and the ones that you can drive through. It's not
Yeah.
that, but it's a
Mhm.
beautiful redwood forest just north of Santa Cruz, north of the ocean there. And they have a visitor center. They have great paved pathways, you know, and it's peaceful and beautiful and it smells fantastic. You know,
Great.
there's a lot of deer in there. So we want to do that again for sure, you know.
That's
And they
nice.
have a gift shop. A gift shop. Yeah.
Fun. That sounds good.
No, that sounds really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Does.
So we're gonna have a Pacific Grove cottage. I cannot wait.
A what?
Great.
Pacific what?
Pacific Grove Cottage.
Oh, yeah,
We're
Pacific
staying at
Grove.
the Andrew
Yes, fireplace cottage.
fireplace cottages, yeah, with a
Nice.
fireplace, which we probably won't use. But uh just the idea of having your own little space there,
Yeah.
you know, without walls attached to anybody else or no one above you, you know.
Will you be out there on your birthday?
No, we get home on the 14th.
Oh,
Good.
So
Very good.
we
It
just
sounds
gotta
wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Really
gotta get
nice.
gotta get a rental car. You know, I hate going through the airport. I just hate it. But at least it's a direct flight. You know, it's on a little bit smaller plane, but we paid for a little extra leg room for Curtis.
Good.
And that's like 2.5 hours there and 3 hours back going against the headwinds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we get to the airport, you know, it's a small regional airport, but they have rental cars there. So you make your reservation in advance, get your rental car, and then it's like a maybe 15-minute drive, probably going about 35 miles an hour the whole way
Mm-hmm.
through
Yeah.
through
Windy
Cannery
Road.
Row and all
Yeah.
of that. Um,
Mm.
a lot of touristy areas to get to the lodges.
Right.
are you gonna drive to the airport and leave your car in Denver?
No, God, no. God, no.
No.
You can't do that in Denver.
You
Cars
can't?
Oh, you
get broken into and stolen constantly.
You know, they don't in
There's a
Newark.
million
Good.
parking places out here. You can go and park your car and pay a fortune for it and then get on a shuttle bus to go to the airport. And then you got to go through all that before you even get on the airplane, before you even go through security.
Yeah.
And even though they have security cameras and stuff, cars get broken into and stolen all the time. And if a hailstorm comes up, then your car's out there completely vulnerable. That's happened a
Right.
number of times. So no, we're going to take a taxi.
Yeah.
We're going to take a taxi to the
Yeah, and they
airport,
can drop you off right in front. That would be great.
right where we need to be. Yeah.
I know I don't like the idea of that either, but like Ben and Meredith have both used that where they just leave their car in Newark. It's really easy, and they've never had a problem. And
That's good.
I know I don't like the
Really
idea.
good.
Maybe
I,
car thefts are more of a thing in the Denver area. I don't know.
I don't know. I think they're pretty big in Newark too, but
Huh.
I don't know. I think maybe they monitor them or something. I don't know.
That's something else we did this week. I had to talk to our insurance agent. I spent an hour and a half on the phone with our insurance, just reviewing things, and paid the $5,100 for home, auto, and umbrella life insurance policy. Ugh,
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time on the phone
Every year.
dealing with financial stuff.
Mhm.
I'm tired of doing adulting, you know?
I know.
Yeah,
How
we're
did you
looking
how
for,
did you have time to work full time before, Joanne?
I have no idea, but I'm so glad I don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that I don't have to deal with HR any longer or any
Yeah.
manager telling me my worth, you know, or what I'm doing wrong or what I'm not doing enough of. Oh, I'm so tired of not having that criticism.
Yeah.
And you get more of that in a bigger organization. I'm not saying you're
Right.
like that, yeah, but you
Right.
know, in a big organization with over 100 employees, you know, they got to have a lot of guidelines, you know, they got to have everything in writing and, you know, oh, I'm just so glad I'm not there anymore.
Well, speaking of cars, Rita, I just really enjoy that Route 80 Facebook page.
Oh, isn't that funny? I
It
mean,
is
not funny,
so,
funny, not
I
funny.
mean, it is so crazy.
It is
I
insane.
mean, it's just a mess and all
It's
the
a mess. And
accidents
every day, it's
every
accidents every
day.
day.
every
Horrible
day,
accident.
couple times a
There have been-
day.
there have been some things on there that I wonder if they're really true.
Oh yeah, they're true.
Like a car, like a pothole just opening up under a car, like
Yeah.
Oh, and
and
that
the car
apartment complex
into
Oh my
it.
God,
Martin,
the apartment
where
complex.
there's like cracks everywhere, the
Yeah.
floor
that's
is separating
that-
from the wall and
Yeah, that's really
right
horrible.
next to a big sinkhole. And
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't want to live in that. And it's like 250 apartments in that building and
Wow.
all kinds of
And I'm sure, and like
stuff.
the owners are saying, "Oh, we had it checked out. It's fine." It's like, okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
well, then why is it getting worse? I mean, that would be scary, you know.
yeah.
It would be. I'd be afraid I
Oh,
wouldn't wake up in the morning.
yeah.
You know?
I don't know how anybody's still there. I would just leave. I mean, I'd break my lease and just go. Like, sue me, go ahead. You know,
Right, right.
I don't think they
It's
would win.
it's too scary
Yeah.
to see things like that happening in such a big building with all of these sinkholes and all these places where they have identified where it's not good.
Yeah.
How are they going to fix it?
I didn't look at Route 80 rant today. What happened today?
I don't know. I didn't look at it too much today either, but it's really pretty crazy, the stuff on there. There's pretty regular posts.
But then
every
there's so
day.
much traffic on the side roads because of the sinkhole. So like in this town next to me, Randolph, there was just a
Yeah.
horrible 4-car pileup. Like somebody ran a red light. This is just a normal intersection on it, just a regular 2-lane road, like say a South Bay and Route 11,
Right.
you know. And somebody ran a red light and they ran into like a school bus with special ed kids. I
Ugh,
mean, like 4 kids died.
I saw
What?
that.
Yeah,
I saw that.
there's all these horrible accidents. Like somebody ran a red light. Like really? I mean, like with this
Just
traffic is
ran
so
right through a
slow.
red light.
Yeah, and hit
Oh
Yeah.
my
a
God.
special ed
There's heavy
student.
traffic on all these
It's just heavy
the
traffic, but
roads.
like it just doesn't make any sense. Wow, that's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be looking at that when we come to visit to see an alternative route or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
We'll be coming
Joanne,
from
what is,
Syracuse, so it's like I don't know any other way to go.
But Mom,
what is Sophia gonna do and the other outdoor kitties while you're away?
Uh-oh.
well, the last week or two, it's really just I don't see Stanley that much anymore. There's a black and white kitty who comes over sometimes later in the evening.
Hmm.
It's really just Evelyn and Sophia that are the most regular ones now. But hopefully, I mean, Sophia is on my kitchen window ledge at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Ugh,
So, and my cat sitter, she has other cats and dogs that she cares for. So, and sometimes the dogs need to get out, at a regular time, So
Well,
she's just gonna come over.
will she put
What?
food out for Sophia?
Well, I'll tell her about Sophia, and maybe she's a woman and she was a zookeeper for a long time, so she has good sensibilities about these things. But
good.
she can put some canned food out, but you can't leave canned food out all day, especially if it's
No,
warmer, because you get flies and bugs and all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
So I don't know. We'll just have to see. She'll put dry food out for sure and water. But if she
Mhm.
sees Sophia on the window ledge, she can put canned food out, and Sophia eats pretty quickly, and then she can bring the dish in and wash it and put it
Yeah.
away. But I'm gonna have to tell her about Sophia. She'll be coming over to visit to review everything before we go
Oh,
away.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm so glad the same woman that's watched Rigby before is gonna watch him again.
Oh, good.
Yeah, company. I could ask Ben too, but he's busy doing something and
Are you taking up? Oh, are you talking about when you come up to Syracuse?
yeah, and he'll
Oh.
be at work because we're coming up Thursday night. So,
you know, he'll be working and stuff, so I don't want to throw that on him. And he's got a dog to walk, and he's got, you know,
Right,
he's got to
right.
work all day and then have a
Yeah.
dog to walk. So I don't want to throw, I'm just going to pay her to do it, you know.
Yeah, I've
Mhm.
got our trip all set up with our cat sitter. She's all set. Same one.
Yeah.
She only likes her, so,
Yeah.
and she's pretty good. She only lives a mile away.
This woman's really
Yeah.
nice, and Rigby's always been really good whenever we've gotten back. You know,
Good.
he's
Mhm.
really happy, and looks like I got her just in time because she's getting a hip replacement surgery in May.
When
So
is it, when is
Gosh.
it you're going, Rita?
the April 24th.
April 24th. Okay. Very
Yeah.
good. That's
Um,
good. Very
yeah,
good.
this woman is a former zookeeper. She's probably 45 or so, maybe. But she worked for two different big zoos. One, the last one was for the Denver Zoo. And then she just decided she wanted to just work with cats and dogs, pretty much, you
Mhm.
know. So she has a lot of clients, I think. Her mother lives with her and she has some cat sitting jobs that she does, and she has one or two other employees who will do like overnight stays if you want that. You
Wow.
know, if you want someone to just actually stay in your house. Um,
How did you ever
but
find her?
Yeah.
um, how did I find her? I can't remember. Because the first cat sitter I had was Virginia, who's a veterinary technician, and she comes over every 6 weeks, 7 weeks to do the nail trims on my cats. And she came once or twice to watch the cats when we went out of town, but then she had a baby, and her little boy
Mm.
is 3 years old now, and she's back to working 2 or 3 days a week, and she has her son, and her husband works full time, so she doesn't want to do over. And they moved. It's too far away to come like every day,
Hmm.
twice a day.
Oh,
I think I found this woman. I honestly can't remember. I called, when I first found Virginia, the veterinary technician, no, she worked out well. I can't remember.
through your
I,
vet
I
or
think I
something?
got, I think I got her from my veterinarian's office because she goes to that same office. So she probably just had her name available. And the first time I called her, she was just like taking her own vacation, or she already had clients and couldn't do it. So then when Virginia said she couldn't do it anymore, I went back to this woman. So um she's good. I like her.
Good.
Um, yeah.
Great.
She doesn't charge very much either. I think it's like $15 a visit for 30 minutes.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, my cat
So
sitter, she charges $10 a visit. And she
yeah.
comes twice a day, so I pay her 20, but I usually tip her,
Oh
maybe
yeah, I always pay more than that,
20 bucks
especially
or
if
something.
if I'm asking her to deal with Sophia.
Yeah.
Because even before Sophia, it's like put some cat food out in the morning, dry cat food, refill the water dish, bring in the dry food when you come back in the evening. That's extra from just taking care of the indoor cats. So,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah,
uh, that
There's a
will be
lot to
good.
think about.
it sounds good.
What'd you have
Yeah.
for dinner tonight, Mom?
What?
What'd you have for dinner?
I haven't eaten yet.
Oh,
Mm.
I made chili
Oh,
yesterday, so
gosh,
we're
it's
having
getting
chili
late.
I think
tonight.
I'll have a lean cuisine.
Mm-hmm. Those are good.
Yeah, simple.
Mm-hmm. I used to love those.
I don't think I've ever had one.
I used to
Yeah,
eat
me
those all the
too.
time for
No, I
I
lunch.
used to
must
eat it.
have. I
Mm-hmm.
must have.
Yeah.
I don't remember though. It's been a while.
Oh yeah, I haven't had any in a long time, but when I was working, I used to like to get those for lunch.
I think that's when I had.
Curtis likes, I told Curtis about these pizzas,
Mm-hmm.
which I used to be able to eat. And it's a just a 3 cheese pizza, but then he puts mushrooms and asparagus and
Oh,
roasted peppers, and he piles it like that high with other
Yeah.
stuff.
That sounds
and that's
good.
a real
Still,
meal, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah, it always smells so good when he cooks it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I made chili yesterday, and like Dominic said, yesterday he said, I'm in the mood for a chili dog. Can I go buy a can of chili? And I was like, no, no, I will make you some chili.
You know, that's really weird
Oh.
because Marvin didn't eat breakfast yesterday and he had to go out and get lunch and he went and got two chili dogs. What was yesterday about
I
chili dogs?
don't know. They're on the same wavelength, but
Yeah, I guess so.
so I didn't have any green pepper or onions, so he went to the store and he got the green peppers and the onions, and I just found a chili recipe online. There's so many, And so then I was thinking, oh, Pat made really good chili last year when we were there. We had some. And so I asked her for the recipe, but she didn't see that till this morning. But anyway, I made the chili and it was like something was missing. I don't think there was enough green pepper. I don't know. It was too salty because they asked for like a teaspoon and a half of salt plus broth, beef broth. And so I was like, too much salt. Anyway, I'm going to make it again. I'm going to pick, I got Pat's recipe.
I use little packets of McCormick's chili seasoning. I
Oh,
mean, you
I've never
just
seen that.
you can get it mild or medium or spicy. I get the mild one.
I mean, I had all the other spices, the cumin and all that stuff. And
Yeah, but this
I
is
had
all
all
in
that.
one, and it just suits me fine.
but
Yeah.
he
Jana,
liked it.
the vegetable broth that I use for soup is a low sodium vegetable broth.
Yeah,
Is there low
yeah, there
sodium?
Yeah,
are
the
low
broth I
sodium
use
ones.
is pretty low sodium
It
too.
wasn't low sodium, the one that I had, and because I tend not to eat low sodium because my
Oh,
salt
you need the
tends to be
salt.
low. I
Yeah.
need salt, but this is like too salty.
Mm.
But I don't know, the two neighbor ladies, one of the ladies had a stent put in, and they had to go through her arm, and her arm was really sore and bruised.
Wow.
And she just got home from the hospital, and so I took like half the chili to her and her sister
Mhm.
to eat. She's 75, her sister's
Yeah.
83 or 84. So we went
Wow.
over to visit just to see how they were doing, and I brought her the chili, and they loved it.
Oh.
It was very salty.
Mm.
But I'm gonna make it again. I'm gonna use Pat's recipe and cut
Yeah, I
both.
would never use green
Mm.
peppers because I don't like green peppers. I would always use red peppers or yellow peppers or orange peppers because they're sweeter. I
Yeah,
don't like
Oh,
green peppers.
I
well, you
can't
could do a
eat any
mixture.
peppers.
You could do
Well,
a
I don't like
mixture.
green peppers at all.
Oh, you
I would
don't?
never
Oh,
I
I
would
do.
never ever eat a green pepper.
Oh, I like all peppers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because they bother my stomach because they're unripe. The green ones are unripe peppers. Yeah.
I
Wait,
never
I grew
eat
some last
peppers.
year and they never turned color. They just stayed green.
They would eventually.
Huh. Okay.
Mom, I remember when we were kids, you used to make like sweet and sour chicken, and it had green peppers in it and chunks of onion, and I used to eat that and love it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God,
no.
I couldn't do it. It would kill me now. I
Yeah,
could
that was
not.
a
I
good
can't eat peppers of
recipe.
any kind. Yeah, I loved that.
I love red or yellow peppers.
Oh, I do too.
A
They're,
pepper
they're
is a
milder.
pepper in
It's a
my book.
milder flavor. They're
Yeah,
milder. Yeah.
a little sweeter.
Yes. Yes.
Well, speaking all this food,
Food.
let's wind it
Yeah,
up
let's
so I
go.
can go
Let's-
eat.
Okay. Very good.
Get your food in the microwave.
Yeah.
So, Mom, maybe just keep us posted tomorrow
Yeah, I didn't-
afternoon.
About your
Yeah,
aphid.
okay.
Let us know if you
I'll
get
send you an email when
gonna
I
go or
know
not.
what's
Yeah.
going on.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very good.
like let us know if you still have AFib and you called
Yeah.
the place where you get the scan and what they said, or if you have to call your cardiologist,
Yeah.
Yeah.
see what they say.
I hope it
I
goes
hope
away.
it's gone. Oh, geez.
I
Yeah,
know.
too. Okay.
Worrisome.
Okay, well, have a good week, everybody.
All
Yeah.
right.
Talk
Okay,
later.
too.
Bye. Love you all.
you.
Love you
Love you
all.
all.
Love you too. Bye-bye. Bye,
Bye-bye.
Mom.
Bye-bye.